so much of this before knowing him, and he thought that I was stealing, from him and putting it in the book. And I had to show him a draft to show him that I already wrote this. It was just that all these things already come true, and now I met him, So that was really more of the issue. But in deference to him, I changed that the character, instead of coming from Great Neck, Long Island, came from Hewlett. And for anybody who didn't get that joke, it's like these 5 kind of classy Jewish towns, on Long Island in New York. But this guy was very much like Josh, and he took me to Scranton on this field trip to do research for this book, and I made us act out everything we'd already done in the book that Amy does, and I made him and I act it out, and it was really quite fun. And then, the Scranton paper may write about it now. We picked out a house where she lives. I knocked on the door, and this is the part where he didn't want to do it anymore. Where I knocked on the door, I said, we have to get to the door. And I said, hi. I said, I'm from New York, and I was just passing through, and I just wanted to come in and meet you because show my friend, this is the house where I grew up. And the woman said, you did not. I lived in this house. She said, for 36 years, and my parents before that. I said, okay, so now I'll tell you the truth. And we came in, and she's my pen pal, and she writes me letters, and she has an acknowledgement, and she wanted to call the Scranton paper. So and they could take a picture of the house. It's a whole thing now. Janet Widsbell, this nurse. Yeah, it was really fun. But anyway, this guy and I, for many reasons, stopped seeing each other after Scranton. Maybe you can guess too. Anyway, he comes to my book party, my book launch in New York, at the Barnes & Noble thing. And it's a year and a half. And he starts talking and he says, I have a funny story for you. So I said, oh yeah, what? He said, I think you'll like it. Well, he says, it's about me, and I don't know if you'll like it, but he said, it ties into your book. I said, you married a shiksa in Pennsylvania. He said, yes. I said, really? You're married, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, how did you meet? Did you meet in Pennsylvania? Because he was changed his voting to Scranton and everything for Obama to pull in Pennsylvania. He's like, no, I met her on J-Date. And she checked other. And then we went out on the first date, and she told me she was a Catholic. He said, I practically spit. But she's converting. I said, but you hate it. What do you care? And he said, well, she really wants to convert. Now, this man is going to wind up being more Jewish with this Jewish, non-Jewish, converted Jewish woman than he would have ever been with me, who he would have thought maybe was like his mother. So, why does Amy pretend? I will read a little bit now. So she and Krista are at this kosher wine tasting, which if you know my synagogue in New York, B'nai Jeshurun, it takes place there in my mind, which is a very beautiful synagogue. Although I can see that if I had found this place when I lived here, I would have joined. I never found any place out here that felt right to me. And this is a nice place. Okay, so they're at the kosher wine tasting, and I told you all the stuff that you needed to know to get to here. So she says, I feel very wrong about meeting Jewish men at these events. I motion to Krista, moving us on our way. She follows me into the lobby, and we take the stairwell one flight down. After a powwow in the bathroom, we check the time to see if it's not too late to still catch a movie. This event is pretty much a bust. Our coats are on 2 of the chairs in the main sanctuary. We leave the bathroom and climb the first flight of stairs, stopping on the landing when Krista says, wait, to rummage through her purse. The door to the men's room opens, then closes. A man bounds up the stairs. He pauses on the landing and gives us a quick smile before he continues up. Now, just a sidebar is that this is the second event that Amy has come to with Krista. They went to one at a club called Down. And Amy saw this guy, and he wouldn't pay any attention to her. This was pre-makeover. I left it in the ladies' room, Krista says of her lipstick, and turns to go back, and I have to make a quick call. I'll meet you by the coats, I say. Take your time. Climbing the stairs, I follow the back of the handsome stranger. Peering from outside the main door as I watch. He gets a refill of wine, stands by himself, and surveys the room. I wait. When he looks in my direction, I come through the door. He sees me and smiles. This one confirms it. Bashert, I think, when I walk over to meet him, because I am sure this man is Josh. Hi there, he says. He's wearing a black jacket over a black button-down shirt. His dark hair is short, and his demeanor is bright. Unlike so many others, he seems comfortable in his own skin. Having fun, I ask? Better, since I saw you and your friend on the stairs. We met, you know. I think we almost met, I'd say. Oh, not us, he says. Your friend and I. We met, for a second, at Down. He gives me a sexy, lopsided grin. How come you weren't there? I was. I thought that we were destined to meet, he says. I'm Josh. I'm Amy, I say, happy to forget about Down. Amy, he repeats, but I'm sure he's thinking A-M-Y. So I say, the French spelling, though, A-I-M-E-E. Mais oui, Josh says, and takes a sip of wine. Josh Hirsch. Amy Albert. Albert. That's a nice, solid American name. I guess, I say. Believe it or not, my grandfather actually came from Glasgow, in Scotland. I believe it. Josh grins again before he gulps his wine. Hey, not bad for kosher stuff, not that I am. He looks at me. I'd bet neither are you. Nope, I say, never was. I think not, says Josh, as if he thought the thought were most absurd. Would miss out on too many great foods, I say, thinking of my penchant for shellfish, especially lobster. And too many great restaurants, says Josh. I'm something of a foodie. I like that, I say. So, what brings you here? Before I saw you, I was wondering the same thing. These Jewish things, what can I say? Really not my scene. I can see why, I say, and I really do, because after just 2 of these events, it's not mine either. But I do like wine, says Josh, and I work nearby. Family business. We manufacture bread. Ever hear of Love Loaves? Yes, I say, excited. I love bread. I always buy your sourdough in the 14 grain. 7 grain, says Josh. It's so good, I doubled it. You're so cute. Oh? So is he, and his confidence makes him cuter. Factories out in Jersey, office here on the west side, plus a ton of clients. We sell to Zabar's, Fairway, Artie's Deli, Barney Greengrass. Actually do all the challahs for this synagogue whenever they have a kiddush. Hearing the word kiddush from Josh is music to my ears. I feel elated. I like him. My world's just turned. On a dime. Giddy, I giggle. I'm sorry, he says. Excuse me? Of course you wouldn't know. You girls are so polite, says Josh, as we both notice Krista making her return. A challah's a Jewish bread, and a kiddush is a kind of meal they have sometimes after a service. She knows that, says Krista, patting her purse to show me she found the lipstick. I'm Krista, she says. You look sort of familiar. Down. We sort of kind of met. I'm Josh, he says. So, he pauses. How do you 2 know each other? Work, says Krista. Consumer PR. Cool, he says. We once hired a small firm, but my father thought we'd be better off just advertising. He should meet my dad, I say, amazed Josh gets it. Maybe he will. He winks. So, what made you ladies decide to pitch to the other team? On second thought, maybe he doesn't. You mean get into PR instead of advertising, I ask? Josh and Krista laugh. You're sweet, says Josh of me. So naive. I look up because I know there's a joke hovering over my head. I glance